Hey everybody, it's the Bulldog, Mr. Miller Boy and what? How you guys doing? I want to welcome everybody in. All right, this I've been working on doing this for a little bit. This stream I want to dedicate to the late great Dimebag. You guys know it's been 20 years since Dimebag was taken from us, taken from the middle community, taken from the middle world, by a deranged fanatic, Wayne Gale. Um, for me, growing up listening to Pantera um, from the very beginning, um, I think Dime was a master at his craft. He was a phenomenal guitarist. Um, One of my favorite of all time. And just to be clear, this stream is not about Pantera per se, not about Damage Plan per se, not about Super Joint or Down or anything, you know, any other band at all. It's about Dimebag. I know a lot of people have their thoughts, about what happened with Pantera. That's for a whole nother stream, for a whole nother day. That that thing I could do for a couple hours about that. This is about Dimebag. 20 years ago, um, I remember seeing seeing Damage Plan. I think it was like 4 days prior to Dime getting shot. I saw him at a place called the Webster in Hartford, Connecticut. Um, but prior to that, I've seen Dime many times when he was with Pantera. Um, the first time I saw him was probably on the Vulgar Display of Power tour. Um, and I think I seen him twice on the Far Beyond Driven tour, uh, two or three times on um, um, what you call it, um, uh, Trenkill tour. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got their albums over here. Um, I'm gonna get to talking about his about his playing on all the albums, including their very early Pantera stuff. I know a lot of people think that Cowboys from Hell was their first record. No, it was not. They had four records out. For those you don't know, Dimebag's, well, Darrell Lance Abbott has is his name. Um, Before he got the name Dimebag, um, in the era of Cowboys from Hell, his stage name was Diamond Darrell. Yes, he wore the spandex. He had his poofed up hair. Um, Him and his brother Vinny Paul, who also passed away, are the co-founders of Pantera. Um, I think Pantera, again, people can say what they want to say about Pantera, how they felt about him, this and that. But people got to give Dimebag his due. Dimebag was an innovator on that guitar. He could warp notes and bring it back to make it its own. Dime was a partier to say the least. Those of us who hung out with him had the, chance to hang out with him, the opportunity to. I was one of them, probably one of a million people. I got drunk with Dime. When he does his crown shots, it's exactly that. He don't put more than, well, at that time he never put more than that much coke in with his Crown Royal. They were like that, the shots. I got stoned with Dime. Uh, Dime was Dime was a absolute awesome musician. Um, if you got, like I said, if you got a chance to hang out with him behind the scenes, he was awesome. Autographs. I had pictures of him taken. I was with him. I over the years, uh, moves, breakups, whatever. I lost a lot of shit, and those are one things I do wish I could get back. I'm not gonna get too much into that shit, but I was and still am a huge fan of Dime. I know a lot of people are gonna associate um, the Eighth with another musician back that got shot and killed on this date also, John Lennon. The past 19 years, having to remind people that not only John Lennon, don't get me wrong, John Lennon's death was, you know, uncalled for, unneeded, wrong, whatever. And it's a surprise to back then to a lot of people. I understand that and I respect them. For those who don't know, John Lennon was shot coming out of his apartment building, the Dakota, which is in the Upper West Side, New York City, close to Central Park. He was shot 2 or 3 times, close range, I believe with a 38. I'm not 100% sure if it was 38 or 45 caliber. Mark Chapman is the one who shot him. He admitted to it in 2022 that he meant to do it. Anyways, even back to what I was saying, a lot of people got to realize not only did he lose his life on the 8th, so did Dimebag Darrell. Big difference is with Dimebag, he was shot in front of fans. Probably about, I think the Agora Ballroom in Ohio held, I think, 250 maybe people in there. It's really not a big place. I don't think it's even still up and running. I know they were talking about shutting it down. I know there was protests to the owner to keep it open. I have never been to the place. Close I've been was probably Youngstown or Toledo places, but I've never been to that establishment for any shows in Ohio. But trying to remind people that not only did he lose his life, but Dimebag also. Again, Dimebag was doing what he loved, and that was putting on a show for his fans. The person that killed him got denied entrance coming into the club at first. Somehow he made his way around the back of the building, jumped a stone wall and a fence, and got in. During songs, they were talking to the crowd, as usual, like Dime does, and Vinny. And he walked up right up to him. He shot Dime point blank range. I'm sure everybody knows the stories. Everybody has seen it, numerous times. I can remember that day it happened. 2004. I was working nights. I was working like 3 to 3, 3 in the afternoon to 3 at night, And I remember I came home, and my phone was going crazy. Back then, we didn't have these, smartphones like we have now. We didn't have the fucking internet at our disposal. I think back then it was just mainly like AOL and MySpace, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Facebook was even around then. I remember my phone going crazy, and I think I was off the next day, so I didn't go right to sleep. I remember turning on the news or something, or TV, or going on the computer, and yeah, I remember I went on the computer, and I remember the opening screen to AOL was guitars of heavy metal being shot dead, and it was like live stories of it. And I'm like, what? And I looked on my phone, and I'm getting text messages from people, about it. I just remember saying, "Get the fuck out! You gotta be kidding me!" I remember clicking on a link and reading it, and it's just like, "Are you kidding me? This has got to be a joke." First thing I said was not dime, not dime, not dime. Like I said, I had just seen and hung out with Dime again at a place called the Webster in Hartford, Connecticut, when he was with Damage playing. I don't remember who was even on that tour, who opened for him. I mean, it's not really important, but and I just remember I just went numb. I ain't gonna lie, I shed some tears. As I think a lot of us did. Whoever said they didn't, I think you might be a little bit, trying to act tough now, but whatever. I ain't gonna lie about it. I did shed some tears. Oh, sorry about that. That was the Dimebag banner I just had behind me. Yeah. Yeah. This is weird. I'm talking about Dime, his, anniversary of his death, and his banner falls behind me. Thanks, Dime. Appreciate you, brother. Love you. Wow. Anyways, I'm not editing that. That was good. Seeing Dime live, it was just incredible. Dime was an extraordinary guitar player. He interacted with the fans while he was doing his thing up on stage. People used to say Jimi Hendrix could make his guitar talk. Dime was the same way. I think Dime was the Jimi Hendrix of our era growing up. Just the way he could bend a note, bring it back in, and at a time when the whammy bar was like frowned upon, he brought it back, and he made it work to where you could hear it in every one of Pantera's records, Damage Plan's records, even on songs that he appeared on of other bands. He was on a couple Anthrax songs, Black Label songs. I think he did a few with Armored Saint, if I'm not mistaken. But you could hear it. You could just hear it. If you listen to a song, you knew it was Dime. You just by the crunchiness of it, the heaviness of it, the raunchiness of it, the high pitch of it. I think the metal community lost somebody that was reinventing himself, reinventing his career with his new band. I think he was before his time with how he was playing. I know there was a lot of great guitarists in the 90s, a lot. And I know I've had conversations with people about this many times, and I mean many times. And a lot of people, will sit there for hours talking about Dime and guitarists like him, and, the ones that, inspired him, being a big Kiss fan, Ace Frehley, Eddie Van Halen. He was a big Van Halen fan. I think Eddie buried one of his guitars with Dime, and Dime had a custom-made Kiss coffin. He was a big Kiss fanatic, to say the least. There's a couple books that I found about Pantera, and it has a lot of great pictures for Dime in it. I want to get to his DVDs first that came out. This is the Practical Joker side of Dime. the fun side of Dime, the party side of Dime, the blowing up side of Dime. For those you might remember, he had a thing called 2040 News or something like that, where he would fake doing like you're doing news reports on the Pantera videos, on Cowboys from Hell video. It's that was their first one. If you want to pick up something that shows you Dime and Pantera for that matter, throughout their backstage antics, them being live, the videos. This is they put out 3 home videos. Pantera poker videos, and then, Pantera home videos. All their first 3 or 4 videos that they did, 5 videos. Then they have Vulgar video, which had Mouth for War, This Love, Walk, Domination Live. Primal Concrete Sledge was like one of my favorite songs by them ever. Just the way Dime played on that song was just insane. And then you had Pantera 3, Watch It Go. That was a wild one. That one had Planet Caravan, which I think they did an insane cover of Sabbath's song, Planet Caravan. I think they did an insane. Their way of doing it. And Dime's playing on that was superb. And they also had I'm Broken, 5 Minutes Alone, Drag the Waters. That came with bonus footage from when they played in Moscow on the Monsters of Rock show. Definitely check out the videos. This one has all 3 on it. You got the videos, and then you got Vulgar videos, and then you got Pantera 3. Yeah, they only made 3 videos. There was supposed to be a 4th one, but it never came about. Mainly because of the issues surrounding Pantera at the time, with Phil and all that year that just they had no contact. Like I said, that's for a whole nother stream. This is mainly, like I said, about Dime. Hold on 1 minute. This is He Came to Rock, Dimebag Darrell. This came out a couple of years after he passed away. I want to say it came out in 09, I think, or 2010, I want to say. Something around that. This came with a DVD also. I was like, this came out in 08. Yeah, I'm sorry, 08. But this came out with Dime Vision 1. A couple years later, I think it's 2017, this Dime Vision 2. This book, I love this book. It's all about Dime from when he first started as a kid up until the end. It has stories about him, pictures of him and his dad, past members of bands with him, musicians, just everything. You can see him there with Zach and Carrie. I'm getting down there with Zach from BLS, Carrie from Slayer, and then you got him here in 2004 with his, just a few months before he got patent. A few months before he was taken from us in 04 with the guys from Damage Plan. This has a lot of his guitars. I think he had some of the most great design guitars. Period. I know he had a couple contracts going with Dean at the time, I believe it was. Washburn. I forgot who else. I'm not sure who else it was, but I know Washburn and Dean were like 2 of the ones that he mainly used. You got a lot of old stuff about him, pictures of his family, young Dime, very young Dime. Um, it's, like I said, get this book. This has, if you, if you, if you're a Pantera fan or a fan of Dime, just go find this book. You could probably find this on Amazon still. Or even if you go on like local bookstore sites, I'm sure they can order for you. This is an absolute must. The other day I started going through this again to remember things, and I started laughing at a lot of stuff that was in here. The DVD that comes with it, Dime Vision 1, it's never seen behind the scenes footage. Some of it was on their home videos, but there's a lot more to it. Again, grab this book. I think it's a great book about Dime. And there's another one I saw. I got this when I lived down in Texas for a couple years. Don't ask. Well, that's where Mrs. Metalhead is from up here originally. She went down there in the military, and I went down there in 2017 and got her. We came back up here in 2022. So yeah, I got this down there at a place called Half Price Books, which is a great bookstore to go to. But this is the complete story of Pantera from 81 to 2001. It's told by Rex. A lot of great pictures in here. A lot of great stories in here about the guys. This is from Moscow, the Monsters of Rock. If you heard Domination, that's the where it took place. One of my favorite pictures of Dime, a very young Dime, very young Dime. This is probably I would say I Am the Night time frame, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But definitely, if you could look for this book, Vogue, a Vogue display of Pantera, told by Rex Brown. It's a great book. It's about Pantera, but a lot about Dime, his playing, who he was, everything, him, Vinny, Rex, everything you want to know. It's probably in here. And Rex also wrote another book. I got it over there. The Lies and the Truth about Pantera. It's called like 101 Proof or something like that. That's a really good book. That lays out a lot that was going on towards the end of Pantera, which, like I said, this is not just about Pantera, it's about Dime. And I know Pantera is going to have a lot of, to it, as his Damage Plan, but for me personally, I was a big Dime fan. I still am, like I said earlier. When I first heard him on, I want to say Power Metal, my brother had him on vinyl. And I remember listening to him when Cowboys from Hell came out. I remember playing it, and I remember telling my brother, I said, "Hey, they finally made it." He's like, "Who?" And I showed him. He's like, "Oh my god!" And they were on an indie label when they first started. This is the Power Metal record. Terry Date was the original lead singer of Pantera before he quit, and that's when Phil came on board. That's a very early shot of Dime right there in the big over there. And you got Vinnie Paul on the left side there of Phil. I'm sorry, Phil. On the back you got it. But I think, yeah, like I said, they were, they had that spandex look. They had that poofy hair, and you know, like a lot of bands, you know, Quiet Riot, Rat, you know, bands along that line, GNR for even that matter. But I bands like that, you know, even Crew, um, but they had this sleaze about them too. They weren't the glam band that people said they were by any stretch. Yeah, some of their songs were a lot different. I think the last two before they got big were their biggest records. The two that Phil came on. Um, these are not bad records by them, and I think this shows um, what Dime, you know, was capable of doing. One of my favorite early ones by them, Project in the Jungle, is a great album. If you want to, if anybody wants to hear early Dime, even Vinnie Paul for that matter, rest his soul, pick up these albums. Project in the Jungle, Metal Magic, Power Metal, and I Am the Night, which is another great record. You can see a very, very young Dime and Vinnie Paul. Sorry about that glare over there, but yeah, that's him right there. Very young. Um, Again, I'll try not to make too much about Pantera, but you gotta talk about the music, and with the music is gonna come to past bands, you know. Um, I think when Cowboys from Hell dropped, I think the real side of Dimebag came out. You know, he lost that whole gimmick. That's when his stage name Dimebag was formed. Um, I think his true sound, his true style of playing came out on Cowboys. Um, and I think it was one of his some of his best work was on Cowboys. Um, Especially like I said, Sledge, Shattered, another great song by him. Cemetery Gates, that 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 ballad, you know, Dime can play something slow like that, and then you know, flip of a switch, he could just go into Message in Blood. He could go into Clash with Reality. Um, you can see it on there, Young Guys, but this album is what propelled them, even Dime, to get even up further noticed. Um, Another great, some of his best, like I think some of his best work was on that record. Um, that was one tour I missed to them. I got like 91. Um, I think a lot of people that didn't know early Pantera, from 82ish, like when they first started Pantera. Um, I think when Cowboys Metal came out, people were like, "Oh, this is new. This is new. This is new." And a lot of people were like, "No, it's not. This is big. This is really their fifth release," and no one knew it. I know there's fans that didn't know about their first four albums. Um, I I didn't realize who they were until, you know, like I said, my brother had them on vinyl, and I didn't realize it was them when Cowboys came out. I remember seeing them in like, um, there was a magazine my brother used to get all the time. Besides Kerrang, it was like Metal something. It wasn't Metal Maniacs or Metal Edge. It was something else. I forgot the name. Metal Forces. Metal Forces. They would do little shots of them in Metal Forces of bands up and coming indie labels, unsigned bands, and they were in there a lot. Um, and then once they, once they got bigger, they were on Metal Maniacs all the time. Um, I think Pantera, I think Dime, I think Dime was the key in Pantera. Um, a lot of people have their different views, which I respect. But from a musician, I think Dime was the absolute top of Pantera. Um, just his the notes, how the sound of his playing, the strength of it, the heaviness, the melodicness of it, the deepness of it, the doomy sounds of it that he did. You know, I think him and Jeff Henneman were put out some of the best riffs ever. And there's many guitarists I know, trust me, from that era that are still around today. That have put out insane riffs, but with Dime and Jeff Henneman, even Alex Skolnick from Testament, and what's it called from Hope from Exodus. There's certain guitarists that you hear the music, you know it's them. You hear the notes, you know the song, and that's how a lot of guitarists are. I would say the guitarists that the songs that you could automatically pinpoint who it is are the guitarists that are the top of their game. And Dimebag was there. I know I'm probably getting a little emotional because, growing up in the 90s, hearing him, seeing him live, hanging out with him, meeting him, he was a humble guy, partier, great musician, loved to just hang out. So another one that I think really started to set him apart from a lot of guitarists, in the 90s was Vulgar. Just the intensity of his playing on Mouth for War on this record. Again, the ballad, This Love, just how strong that was, the sound of it, fucking Hostile, without a doubt. Walk, their anthem. My favorite song, Hollow. Regular people could see how he played on that. Just he was just incredible. Again, it's like my thought on Pantera was always, or on Dime, was what if he didn't die. Like I said, I think he was reinventing his career. He was getting that second wind of him. There's no telling what could have come out of it. Where he could have been now. I don't think Vinnie Paul would have passed away. If Dime was still here, to be honest with you. It's just those two were always together. Back in, what was it, 84, 85, I think it was. Something in that era, 86 maybe. Dave Mustaine wanted Dime to join Megadeth. Only reason he didn't join was because Vinnie Paul couldn't come with him. So that another thing that made you think, what if he would have joined Megadeth? Would Megadeth be what they are now? Would it be clashing with him and Dave? it is always those thoughts of what could have happened, but I'm glad, he said no and went on his way to do Pantera and Damage Plan and Rebel Meets Rebel for that matter. Um, yeah, it's just every year leading up to his death, you know, it gets to everyone goes, wow, it's been this long already for him, you know. Um, too many, I think too many great musicians. Hold on, guys, one minute. Hold on. Too many great musicians have been taken from the, us in the middle community. Um, for instance, Lemmy's death is coming up in 2 weeks from now. I'm gonna do a stream about him. As you know, Lemmy was my favorite lead singer, bassist of all time. Um, Dime was taken way before his time, too young, again by a fanatic. Uh, I think his death woke up a lot of people to security issues at clubs, especially here in the U.S. I know here in New York, Jersey, and Connecticut, when that happened, the clubs here redid their entire security system, their setup. Um, Going to these clubs up in New York, Jersey, and Connecticut, I've been to many of them up here. Um, a lot of these have changed for the better. Um, More metal detectors have been issued and used. Wands, they actually, do what they're supposed to do by checking people. Um, I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this now that are in bands know what I'm talking about, and people that live up here know what I'm talking about when I say about the security being lax back then and being probably much better now. I got friends on here that are in bands. I'm sure you guys know all the ones I'm talking about. Revic, Morning Red, Warham 66, Kai, Gold Metal Show, Drucifer. I'm sure you guys all can relate to what I'm saying about the security aspect of things. About somebody coming up from that crowd. Having had eyes all around. I think it's just sad it took a legend and an icon, in my opinion, one of the greatest guitarists from our time, to lose his life. It sucks. I miss Dime a lot. Again, not to get too emotional, but I think we've lost too many names, too many big names in the metal community over the past, now 25 years now, if you think about it. Thinking back to 2000s, even with Chuck from death passing away from cancer. Losing Ronnie, there's differences between natural causes and health issues, even drugs and alcohol abuse, to somebody, a fanatic, an asshole fan, who was blaming Dime and blaming Vinnie Paul for what was going on with Pantera. When there's so many different stories about that. Again, I'm not going to get into that. That's for a whole nother stream. It's a lot of people now that are seeing Pantera. I like how they have it now with Charlie Benante, Zach, Phil, and Scott Ian. But to me, it doesn't have the same feel as seeing Dime up there, seeing Vinnie Paul behind that kit. Um, from my point of view, um, there's no telling how far Vinnie Paul and Dime could have gone with either, Damage Plan, which I think Damage Plan's album was pretty damn good. I think Dime's work on that Damage Plan record was perfect, especially for coming back. I want to put something on the background, guys. Hold on. Chill out. Yeah, I'm just putting on some Pantera in the back just to lighten the mood up a little bit. This is regular people can see another some. I think some of the best Dime's work started on Cowboys, but on Vogue it really started to get taking off to that little heavier, melodic, dark side where you had that you could hear the way he's been manipulated. His thing was always he tried staying away from F minor. He never liked F minor. The tabs he raised up on his guitar because he wanted them close, the bars and everything. One of my favorite albums for his work. My favorite record by him, Far Beyond Driven. I think this was his heaviest grinding type stuff. Guitar wise, it was just a heavy output by him. Just a deep sound for him, melodic at times, scary at times. Powerline Sucking Cheeks is a perfect example of that. 25 years is another one off this one. Throwaways of Rejection. Again, Planet Caravan. I think he nailed it on that with his playing on that track. He kept progressing and progressing and progressing. And I think once they hit Tranquil, you could see that he was gonna be big. That he was on top of his game with Tranquil. I think Tranquil was a great album. I don't care what anybody says. I know that's when they started to get more deep into the mainstream. More popularity. They were all over MTV, VH1 at the time. Magazines. They were on covers of magazines. And I think his work on this record is the reason why this went to number one. You guys remember, No in the Middle album charted number one, and this one right to the top. Which, I know that the big ones that everybody remembers on his album is 5 Minutes Alone, I'm Broken, Slaughter was a heavy fucking song, Become, Good Friends and Bottle of Pills. You guys know how heavy that and distorted he made that track sound, along with Phil's screams and shit on that record. It's definitely one of Dime's more deeper cuts, I think. It's definitely one of my favorite records by them. It's definitely one of their heaviest ones. for Dime's side of it, it deeper sounding guitars on it. Because this is where Dime started to get catapulted, and then once Trendkill came out, it was just full blown. I saw him on this tour, and they started every set when they were on this tour. They started off with a pre-recorded Suicide Note Part 1, which went right into Suicide Note Part 2. Anybody knows this record, Suicide Note Part 2 is just an ambush, and I mean, ambush, heavy song, straight kick you in the crotch, smack you in the mouth song. And Dime wrote that song, and it's top to bottom. I think it's again some of Dime's heavier work, more of a, you can say, borderline, like a darkened thrash. And they always said Pantera was that groove sound, like that second wave of heavy metal. I think by this record, they were more of a melodic thrash packed. Still had that groove with it. They were trying to change too much, I think. Again, I'm trying not to make it about Pantera. I know I keep saying Pantera, but Dime's work on these records alone, are just some of his phenomenal work by him. It's a shame he's gone. I think I speak for a lot of us on here and worldwide about Dime just, being a maestro, in my opinion. Is that just seeing him live, which I'm sure a bunch of you guys on here have. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. When he's on that, when he's playing, you zoom in on him. A lot of times your focus was on him just because he's that goddamn good on stage. And just watching him, yeah, he had his problems on stage with the shakes, but he kept going. He said he partied like no other. He rocked like no other. He was just an insane guitarist, great human being. Behind the scenes, I met Rita. If you guys don't know me, Rita's called Dimebag's Hag. I had a picture with her and Dime, which I lost again. I had pictures of us, me with him, that I lost back in the early 2000s. I'm upset about big time. But just hanging out with him was great. I said, be prepared to have some drinks, get stoned. But he wouldn't push people that came back too much. He would, but he wouldn't. Especially, say, if you had driving, But that was when that was one time I could say, I could verify this. If you got backstage passes, yeah, you can have a couple drinks. But if you said, no, you're driving or whatever, he would respect you, But you would have one or two with him, he would be cool, Not like some other members that didn't like it or whatever. But, teach its own. I'm getting way off topic with this, sorry. Another one that I think he had some damn good work on was Reinventing the Steel. I saw him on this tour right out. It was right before, I want to say right before 9/11 happened. might have been right before. I saw him at Hammerstein Ballroom, and which is, I know people are gonna call it Manhattan Center. To me, it's Hammerstein Ballroom. Always will be. You can see this is pretty much a grown-up Pantera. You see Dime over here. There's Vinny. There's Rex. There's Phil. This is when I think they started to get real big. Some of the songs on here are just phenomenal songs. And it's against some of Dime's best work. Okay, what I mean by that is it brought it every album you've seen Dime elevating his play. You know, taking it to the next level, to that next. And that's why when I said with Damage Plan, I think that was his second coming. You know, that was him saying, I'm still gonna go. You know, on this album, you got Hellbound. The first track on this is insane. Goddamn Electric, it's a heavy. I think it's some of Dime's heaviest work. You gotta believe Death Rattle. That song with Dime's playing is just immense. It's just that grinding guitar sound like he had like no other. I'll Cast a Shadow, another great tune by him. It's good. If you hear in the background now, Dime was nothing short of a great guitar player, a great musician, all the way around. It's hard to believe it's 20 years. I'll maybe tomorrow, but today. I was gonna do his video tomorrow on the anniversary, but I got plans. I got a dinner plans with people, great friends of mine. But I will be doing a couple of shorts about Dime tomorrow, definitely. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching this. Real quick, I just want to talk about I'll get it, my phone. I'm not gonna edit it. I don't edit it. I'm not worried about it. This is the Damage Plan record. You Found Power. I had no problems with this record when it came out. I was actually looking forward to this record when it dropped. The song Cold Blooded, another hard one. Soul Bleed, great ballad by him. That song is dedicated to Dime. Almost in every video that I've seen. Tribute to him. Memorial for him. The song Fuck You is just insane. I know a lot of people tried saying that they were trying to do another Pantera sounding record. I don't think it sounded like Pantera. There was some parts that did. But I think Dime and Vinny and Rodzilla had their own look on what they wanted to do. I know Vinnie Paul, rest his soul, said many times they were trying to get away from that whole Pantera Aurora and the whole Pantera sound. They didn't want people to say that they're sounding like them. I don't think they did on that record. I think this record, I know that the time frame that this record came off of Damage Plan. Yeah, I remember it was a lot of, you had the whole new metal, the whole new metal jumping off. You had the power metal. You had some groove starting to kick off. You had the jump around bullshit fucking type metal coming around. But you still had the thrash. I think that Damage Plan record was a good combination of groove metal mixed with thrash and some hardcore. There's a lot of different aspects on that record. Even Save Me, that I call it like a strong mid-tempo power ballad. Great song. That that the work that Dime did on that record, again, it showed him. It showed how much he had come in his playing career, how much he had, grown. The things that he could really, really do with that guitar, and it was phenomenal. Hold on 1 minute, guys. I thought I might broke my phone, but I didn't. Thank God. Yeah, I got wood floors. I got wood floors in here. Lucky there's a rug, so thank God. I'm playing in the background, Hollow. This song reminds me of him a lot. I just like his playing style on Hollow. That's like nothing. I know I'm going over a little bit with this, but who cares? Dime could go from playing 100 miles an hour and a blink of an eye, dropping it down to like nice mid-pace, like a groove grind, doom type. Then he could go right to like, a heavy power ballad like Hollow. That was nothing with him live. He put his heart into it. He put his whole soul into playing for us, the fans. I know there were times that they were messy on stage. There's no getting around that. There were a lot of times that you could see there wasn't that unity that they once had. That was when they started to fall apart, and it's a shame. I miss Dime. I miss Vinny. Like I said, I always wonder what would have been, if security did their fucking job that night 20 years ago, and stopped Yale from coming in there and opening fire. I still commend the officer that came in there. I think his name was Niedermeyer, I believe his name was, the officer who shot and killed him. I applaud him to this day. I know he's retired since. He had, I know that affected him, as it affected a lot of people. I commend him for that, for taking him out when he did, for blasting him twice with his shotgun. Because it could have been a lot worse that night. I think we would have lost the entire band that night. And I think it woke up places that need security, that it needed to be beefed up. It's fucked up that it took Dimebags to get shot and killed over a fanatic, overzealous fan who was blaming Dime for something that the fan didn't fucking know about. It's sad. It hurts. I wish Dime was still here playing his stuff. Again, I'm sorry if I seem a little emotional. Dime was one of my favorites. People don't want to admit it. I have no problem admitting it. Pantera and Dime were, one of my favorites and still are. There's times where I used to run Pantera just to hear Dime play. I'll watch, I watched the Dime Vision videos. This is part 2, by the way. This is called Roll With It or Get Rolled Over. This is a DVD. It's part 2 of it. This also comes with this too has 5 songs on it that Dime did. That sound nothing like Fans Era. They're more like a southern sound. And I think one's a cover. I think 2 of them, 2 or 3 of them, he did with his father, and I think Vinny Ball also. But definitely, this is Dime Vision 2. It's a double disc DVD and a CD. Check this out also along with Dime Vision 1, the book. Shit. Right there. That's Dime Vision 1. The book comes with it should come with the DVD. If not, but if not, I'm sure you can find it. Check out Amazon for this, or even like a Barnes and Noble. You can probably get it. This is still available on. You can find this on Amazon. You can find it on eBay also. I recommend both things. If you're a Dime fan, and you want to see antics, hijinks, partying, playing, just Dime being Dime. You know, no fake shit with him. That's when you want Dime. I don't think Dime was ever fake a day in his fucking life. But yeah, I want to thank everybody. I'm sorry I got emotional, a little bit off track with this. This is one stream that I want to do because it meant a lot to me. Everybody, get your horns up for Dime. 20 years tomorrow. Blast Dime. Put it out there. As always, stay hard, stay heavy, stay metal. Keep waving that flag. Dime, Vinny, miss your brothers. This is the Bulldog saying, if you're gonna do something, make it count. I'm out.